everyone, Pineapple Apple here with, holy shit, a video game movie that isn't completely bastardized or shit. More of those have been coming out recently and I'm all for it, so I'm pretty excited to be reviewing this movie. Once upon a time, the big two mascots in video games were Sonic and Mario. So, before the Chris Pratt oddity with Mario is released, we have a fully fledged Sonic film to look at. Coming out in 2020, Sonic the Hedgehog tells Sonic's origin story and sets up an amalgamation of the early Sonic world and our own. This is a common format for fantasy films such as Enchanted or another film I'll bring up with comparisons to later. This movie is a little formulaic, but we will have to see if that correlates to any downturn in quality. Now, considering this is a Sonic movie, the first thing we should talk about is the characters. First up is the titular character, Sonic. Here he is played by Ben Schwartz, or as I know him, Jean-Ralphio. I feel that he gets the character's voice down, although some of the writing makes him sound a tad obnoxious. He does put a good charm and cockiness into the character, though. He can also pull off the emotive reactions and moments for the character, even if once again I felt the writing or pacing could have been better, such as the baseball scene. Now, I'm not that familiar with a lot of Sonic cartoons, which is where most of the characterization is recognised from, apart from the memes of Sonic Boom.
You know, Amy, anytime someone calls attention to the breaking of gender roles, it ultimately undermines the concept of gender equality by implying that this is an exception and not the status quo.
The characterization felt natural, and even if not 100% matching the past versions of the character, felt consistent with what I have seen, making him feel as if we are really watching a Sonic movie, not just Hop rewritten. Speaking of Hop, our human companion for the Blue Blur is Tom, played by James Marsden. Hold on. James Marsden's human character is bored. Character from a fantasy realm appears in the human world. Attempts to integrate and meets James Marsden, causing a wacky adventure against a cartoonish villain for control of mystical power. This is the same film! Okay, maybe I'm oversimplifying it a bit, but seriously, there are one too many commonalities here. Back on track, because I don't want to think about Hop any more than I have to, Tom is a cop and is interested in moving to San Francisco with his wife. But over the film, thanks to Sonic, learns to appreciate the small town lifestyle and the people there. Kind of. Yeah, that's how I would simplify his arc. But while watching it just felt like him bonding with Sonic being the end-all. And even if the comedy doesn't always land for him, I feel his performance lands more consistently than Sonic's, even if just to a small degree. Now to the big one that everyone was anticipating. As Dr. Robotnik, we have the man, the legend, Jim Carrey here. And yeah, he's the best. A 10 out of 10 performance. I loved every moment that he was on screen. And not only works as a cartoony villain like Robotnik usually is, he also works as a great antagonist both against Sonic's quippiness and his power. His performance nails an intimidating air without making the tone feel removed from the other characters, as they feel far lighter in tone than that. I'm not sure what else to say here. He was fun and fit into the film perfectly. If I had a negative note, it would only be that he overshadowed the rest of the cast. So much that there was a scene or two I was a little disappointed that we were being taken away from him and put back with Sonic. Maddie, Tom's wife, is played by Tika Sumpter, and wasn't bad. She felt like a natural character, a real person, but is felt absent from a large part of the film. And when she joins the cast later on, unlike Tom and Sonic, she felt like a tag-along instead of an integral part of the team. That's really all I have to say. She was good while she was there, but left for what felt a little too long and had a little to do when she came back. As another movie original character, we have Lee Majdoub, that's probably not how you pronounce that, playing Robotnik's sidekick and minion, Agent Stone. Who may be in love with him? Yeah, we never find that out. But the sexual tension is definitely there. It's about as overt as the ads for the Olive Garden in this film. He is a nice addition to the cast, keeping another entity for Robotnik to act off of, much like Sonic and Tom do. The character is strange, but is endearing in his eccentricity and his companionship with the Doctor, even if he seems to disappear for the third act, almost swapping with Maddie as she returns for it. We also have a great side cast, some who appear throughout the movie, and some who just appear for a couple scenes or less. Maddie's sister Anissa entertaining, but not in the film for long. The same goes for Wade and Crazy Carl, although those two feel more like gimmick characters than real people. There's also the Olive Garden guy. He likes the Olive Garden. Now to the actual film. We start with a nice take on the Paramount logo. Then, a goddamn cold open ending with, "You're probably wondering how I got into this situation." Jesus, I hate that trope. I also really like the montage of the Sega logo. Nice touch. After the little mishap, we start in Sonic's childhood, in a beautiful green hill zone, with a child Sonic design that was definitely designed for toys. We also meet his mother figure Longclaw, an owl who teaches him to keep his power hidden, although not very well, as the Echidna clan attack. Since Sonic has been running around Green Hills, not so subtly. Longclaw is out of the way quite quickly. I wish we had a little more time with her, but she serves her narrative purpose well enough. To keep Sonic safe, Longclaw sends him through a ring portal to Earth to keep him safe, leaving her fate up ambiguously. It's then we meet Tom, who Sonic is fucking with. After Sonic takes his leave, Tom finds a quill of his that seems to have an almost electric quality to it. We get a fun, if not little obnoxious montage with Sonic's daily life. Every little detail in his hole does well to set up his character. Also getting a nice bit of detail set up to the Mushroom World that will be Sonic's only other safe haven, should shit hit the fan on Earth. We are then introduced to the characters in the town of Green Hills, narrated by Sonic, as we see how he perceives the town from his perspective. An interesting point of view, since the normal things we see these people do are greatly exaggerated or misread in Sonic's eyes. Along with more characterization of Sonic, we do get some more egregious reference humour. Something that I think is used a little too much in this film, if I'm being honest. It's almost halfway to being a movie, if you know what I mean. We get a nice scene with Maddie and Tom in their home life, showing them work off each other well, and even setting up future points such as the appearance of these trash pandas. Seriously, there's foreshadowing I never thought they would put the effort into. They talk about possibly moving to San Francisco and are respectively going up there at different times. Maddie about to spend some time with her sister up there, leaving Tom alone for a little while. Sonic sees a baseball game leading to an annoying comedy routine, and a pretty quick, and not in my opinion yet earned, emotional breakdown, leading to an EMP effect to shoot out. Some government suits find this out and send Robotnik after the source, with a great entrance scene, sending his well-designed, if generic-looking bots after Sonic. Robotnik finds traces of him, causing him to flee, finding a safe haven in Tom's garage to ring away to the Shroom Planet. Meanwhile, Tom is planning his trip and ends up about to shoot Sonic in the face. This leads Sonic to being distracted and accidentally sending his rings to San Francisco and getting tranked. Jim Carrey comes back to add some hilarity and sends both Tom and Sonic fleeing after Tom gets a good punch in. Robotnik gets the loose quill and our dynamic duo set up an uneasy alliance to San Francisco, coming across a biker bar where we get a Quicksilver scene, and a pretty good highway battle against many of Robotnik's robots. Sonic is hurt via explosion, and Tom brings him to Maddie, where we not only get humorous moments with the characters, we also get an explanation for Sonic's iconic shoes. That certainly wasn't needed, but is fun. Just like this scene with Robotnik in his lab. Sonic, Maddie, and Tom make their way to the Transamerica Pyramid, the building that the rings fell onto and I wouldn't know the name of unless I googled it like I did. And they bluff their way in, and I'm not gonna lie, there is a fantastic bag joke. It was what initially hooked me when I first saw the trailer. No, surprisingly it wasn't that god-awful Sonic design, James Marsden, or Gangster's Paradise. Once they find the rings, they are attacked by Robotnik, leading to a pretty well-done fight against his bots, and a ring sending our humans back to Green Hills. Sonic and Robotnik run through the city, returning to the flash-forward moment from the start. With some fun foreshadowing and references in San Francisco, we end up in Paris, then China and Egypt, as the chase continues, ending up back in Green Hills. at night, so I suppose their chase took hours and not just the 10 minutes that we saw. The final fight happens and is pretty good. A little generic, but gets the whole message about the small town and community and shit across, well, without feeling forced. The movie ends on a happy note, with Maddie and Tom staying in Green Hills, basically adopting Sonic and getting another recommendation to the Olive Garden.
Have you tried their never-ending pasta bowl? It never ends.
We also have after-credit scenes to lead into the next film. First, we have another scene of Robotnik, now on the Mushroom Planet, ready to start planning again. It's quite funny, and does well to shift the character more towards the Eggman we know. The second is just trailer bait, but it's fun to see Tails appear. So, now that we've talked about that, there is an elephant in the room relating to this film. Or more of a cat.
Meow?
Yeah, this was Sonic's original design. Quite different from what we eventually got, after many months of review. I am really happy with the review design. The first was questionable, but the one used in the film was pretty good. It was recognisable as the character using many traits and shapes from the video game design. Mixed with the performance, this certainly feels like the same character. The other character in the film very integral to the games is Eggman, or Ivo Robotnik. Yeah, I forgot his name was Ivo. Strange. Jim Carrey is actually a pretty good pick to emulate the character's design, even if he's not fat. It was of course changed a little, no massive egg-shaped torso, but his appearance in both the film and end credits work well at not only being able to recognise the character, but making his appearance and its progression feel natural. Tails was also good, but I'll elaborate that when we talk about the second film. I don't have much to say about the OST, but the added songs did feel a little egregious, such as playing Don't Stop Me Now, or as said before, the trailer's use of Gangsta's Paradise, that I liked, but does not fit Sonic. Maybe it would fit Shadow the Hedgehog, since he has such an affinity for firearms. Speaking of, that's something I really want to see in the third movie. Just Shadow with a rifle trying to kill Sonic. That would be fun. Now, I do want to talk about some of my favourite references to the games. First is probably the Echidna tribe, popular characters from the game, such as Knuckles and Tikal coming from them. The small town being called Green Hills, and much like Green Hills Zone from the games, was a nice touch. And let's not forget about Sonic's appearance in the film. That was a great nod. Finally is the credits, and they look very good and serve as one big reference to the original game's design, much like Sonic Mania. So, finally, let's get to the ratings. Sonic the Hedgehog was a decent movie, working as a jumping-off point for a film series. There is a large potential for such, as the games have such an extensive history. The actors were all good, and the film was decently written. It lost my investment slightly at points, but was able to bring me back easily, and uses its placement in the real world rather than Mobius well, even if a lot of it is used for slightly suffocating reference humour. I'll give Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 a good 7 out of 10. And on the rewatchability scale, I'll give it a smooth ride. Enjoyable enough, but you don't get much new out of it apart from realising smaller details and game references. Thank you everybody so much for watching this review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, and consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so that you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.